Walk through almost any major city in the world. You will see luxury cars, luxury watches, luxury clothing, luxury lifestyles. And naturally, you will assume wealth is everywhere. But there is a problem. Most visible wealth is not wealth at all. It is consumption. And consumption is often the exact opposite of wealth creation. This creates one of the most misunderstood dynamics in modern society. The people who look rich are often not rich, and the people who are truly wealthy often do not look wealthy. At first glance, this seems irrational. If someone possesses extraordinary resources, why not display them? Why not signal success? Why not enjoy the rewards? The answer reveals something profound about how wealth actually works. Because wealth and status operate according to entirely different systems. One system rewards visibility, the other rewards ownership. One system seeks attention, the other seeks leverage. One system consumes capital, the other compounds it. Most people spend their lives trying to look wealthy. A much smaller group spends their lives becoming wealthy. And the difference between those two paths changes everything. Today, we decode the hidden architecture behind quiet wealth. Human beings evolved in tribes. In small groups, status mattered, reputation mattered, social position mattered. Higher status often increased access to resources, access to opportunities, access to influence. The instinct remains embedded inside modern psychology, but modern economies transformed that instinct into an industry. Entire business models now depend on status signaling. Luxury brands, social media platforms, celebrity culture, influencer ecosystems, advertising networks, all built around a single idea: visibility. The message is simple: display success, display status, display achievement. The more visible the signal, the more powerful the perception. This creates an economic machine that monetizes human psychology. People do not merely purchase products, they purchase symbols. Symbols of success, symbols of exclusivity, symbols of identity. The system is remarkably effective because status provides immediate emotional rewards, recognition, validation, attention. And attention is one of the most addictive currencies in existence. Most people use the words wealth and status interchangeably. The architect does not, because they represent fundamentally different things. Status is what people see. Wealth is what people do not see. Status is visible consumption. Wealth is invisible ownership. Status is the car. Wealth is the business generating the cash flow. Status is the watch. Wealth is the portfolio producing the returns. Status is the penthouse. Wealth is the asset base funding the penthouse. This distinction appears simple, yet it changes how entire lives unfold. One path prioritizes appearances. The other prioritizes productive assets. One path spends capital to generate perception. The other deploys capital to generate future capital. The difference compounds, year after year, decade after decade. Eventually, the outcomes become dramatic, not because one group works harder, but because they participate in different systems. One system converts resources into attention. The other converts resources into ownership.
There is another reason truly wealthy people often appear surprisingly ordinary. Visibility creates costs. Attention creates costs. Complexity creates costs. The more visible wealth becomes, the more resources are required to maintain the signal. Larger houses require larger expenses. Luxury lifestyles require continuous upkeep. Status competition never ends, because status is relative. There is always a larger yacht, a larger mansion, a more exclusive experience. The game has no finish line. Wealth operates differently. Wealth seeks optionality, flexibility, control, independence. The objective is not admiration. The objective is freedom, and freedom rarely requires public recognition. This creates an unexpected outcome. Many wealthy individuals optimize for ownership rather than appearances. Their assets remain hidden. Their leverage remains hidden. Their capital allocation remains hidden. The wealth exists. The signal does not. From the outside, they appear ordinary. Inside the architecture, they control productive systems.
The danger of status-driven systems is not luxury itself. Luxury is merely a tool. The danger emerges when signaling replaces ownership, when appearances replace architecture, when consumption replaces investment. The system quietly shifts. Income becomes committed. Expenses become permanent. Financial flexibility disappears. The individual becomes trapped, not by poverty, but by maintenance. The lifestyle must be sustained. The image must be preserved. The expectations must be met. This creates fragility. A fragile system depends on continuous inflows. A resilient system depends on accumulated assets. One interruption can expose the difference. Economic downturns, business disruptions, market shocks, unexpected events. Suddenly, the distinction between status and wealth becomes visible. The person displaying success may struggle. The person quietly accumulating ownership may thrive, not because they are smarter, but because they built a different architecture. The most important wealth lesson is surprisingly simple. Ownership scales, consumption does not. A productive asset can generate future value. A consumed asset generally cannot. This is why the greatest fortunes in history share a common pattern: ownership. Businesses, equity, infrastructure, intellectual property, networks, productive systems. The specific asset changes. The architecture remains remarkably consistent. Capital is deployed into productive systems. Those systems generate returns. Returns acquire additional ownership. Ownership compounds. The cycle continues. Eventually, the architecture becomes self-reinforcing. At that stage, wealth becomes increasingly invisible because the value no longer exists in physical objects. It exists in cash flows, networks, rights, ownership structures. The most valuable assets in the modern economy are often impossible to see, yet they control extraordinary amounts of wealth. The lesson of quiet wealth is not to reject luxury. It is to understand sequence. Ownership comes first. Consumption comes later. Architecture comes first. Appearance comes later. The modern economy constantly encourages visibility, attention, recognition, status. But wealth follows a different logic. Wealth follows ownership, leverage, compounding, productive systems. Most people ask, how can I look successful? The architect asks, what do I own? That single question changes the game, because ownership generates options. Ownership generates resilience. Ownership generates freedom. And freedom is ultimately what most people are seeking when they pursue wealth in the first place. The irony is profound. The people most obsessed with appearing wealthy often delay becoming wealthy, while the people most focused on ownership often become wealthy without appearing wealthy at all. Status is visible. Wealth is invisible. Status seeks attention. Wealth seeks leverage. Most people study symbols. The architect studies systems. Because wealth is not what you display to the world. It is the architecture quietly working behind the scenes. This is Nexera, decoding systems, architecting wealth.